the Lightning front office is under fire by fans for recent roster moves. With playoffs just days away, fans are outraged and players are extremely frustrated. Did the front office get it wrong? We're going to break it all down right here on Lightning Digest. Now, very quickly, if you're here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Playoffs are coming up just days away, and we've got all the playoff content. You don't want to miss it. Now, let's get into it. We started the last episode with 2 words, Connor Geekie. And history repeats itself. I don't know if you guys heard the news, but when I saw that Connor Geekie got sent back to Syracuse, I was livid. Yes, this Connor Geekie. This guy that had that beautiful breakaway goal to tie the game, make it 1-1 against the Red Wings the other night. We were all so amazed by what this young talent could do. He's a 21-year-old kid. We were all so happy to see that we finally had somebody that was a secondary scorer who maybe wasn't ready to be on the first, second lines, but could really contribute to the team. Connor Geekie had players praising him. He had broadcasters praising him. Everyone could see that there was something special in this player. Fans were going crazy. We were all thrilled. And then the front office sent him back to Syracuse. They sent him to the cold. How? Why would you do that? It's very important that this team starts incorporating more young guys into play for the sake of their development, because eventually you're going to have to replace that older talent. Players are going to start retiring. And what are you going to do then when these young guys aren't getting the chance to play at the NHL level? And then you're bringing down Pelletier, who's 25, and Chaffee, who's 28. I don't really understand that. If there's anything we can learn from Leonardo DiCaprio, there's a reason why he has that age standard, okay? Don't call them up after 25, please. Chaffee contributed nothing. Pelletier maybe is a little better than Chaffee, but I think that Connor Geekie, being the youngest out of those 3, being 21 years old, is the best. He's shown us the most results and most positive contributions to this team. My only concern now is by sending him back to Syracuse after such a high, after, literally feeling probably like he was on top of the world with his first NHL goal this season, I hope that doesn't deplete his momentum, because that can be really discouraging for any player, but especially a young player who's 21 years old, gets called up from the AHL, and then suddenly gets sent back. It's very confusing. It's like, it could potentially lead to some imposter syndrome. You're thinking, wow, I did so well. I was getting praise. I was getting a lot of positive reinforcement. And now suddenly I'm kind of back to square one. So I like to trust in the front office. Right now, if I had Julien BriseBois' number, I would be calling him and yelling. So thank God I don't, because that would not be good for either of us. Well, maybe not yelling, but I would have a stern conversation with him about why he would send Geekie back to the crunch. I just don't understand it. For players that were not very helpful, if I can say that in the kindest way, not very helpful to the team tonight against the Rangers. We lost to the Rangers 4-2. Quite the embarrassing ending to the regular season on home ice, nonetheless. And yeah, just going back to this Tampa Bay roster, like I said, a lot of older guys. The average age on the team is, late 20s, early 30s. So when you have older players like that, we've got Corey Perry, for instance, 40 years old. Players in his age range, Alex Ovechkin, Sidney Crosby, Anja Kopitar. Most of the headlines around those players are about retirement, okay? Corey Perry, 40 years old, again, was getting into it with 24-year-old Will Cuylle tonight. Now, in his defense, Will Cuylle had a very awkward collision with Declan Carlisle. Carlisle ended up kind of falling on his right shoulder. He was slow to get off the ice. He went to the locker room, but thankfully he came back. And I understand stepping up for your teammates. Carlisle was out for a few weeks with an injury. He just came back recently, so, enforcer style, right? It's hockey. But I just don't like it at all when older veterans go after the young guys. Corey Perry is 40 years old. Why is he going after Will Cooley, who's 24 years old? Scientifically speaking, I could be wrong. I don't know Will Cooley. But scientifically speaking, at 24 years old, your frontal lobe isn't even developed. It doesn't develop until you're about 25 to 27 years old. So why are you going after it with this young kid if you're really that upset at 40 years old? Have a talk with him, okay? Unc to nephew. I don't know. Don't try and beat this young guy up, okay? If you're going to go after a player, go after a player in your age range, okay? I don't like it when the older guys go after the younger guys, okay? Let the younger guys hash it out among themselves. I think it's embarrassing and it's inappropriate. That's just my take. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I did not like that move by Perry at all. And that's another reason why we need to bring younger guys like Geekie, who really proved himself the other night against the Red Wings, to this roster and give them that NHL chance. I was truly shocked that they brought back Chaffee, who brought nothing to the table when he was in Tampa Bay, and Pelletier, who, it's just a body on the ice, essentially. Really just a body on the ice that's taking up some minutes so the other players don't have to go as hard as they would need to fill in for, the players that are injured. But even thinking ahead, all right, we've got the Canadiens coming up soon in the first round of playoffs. The average age of that team is about 25. And when you're looking at one of their best lines, Slafkovsky, 22. Suzuki, 26. Caulfield, 25. So the average age of that line is 24. Okay? Those young athletes, they have that high-pressure, main stage, all eyes on us experience. Okay? Slafkovsky and Suzuki played at the Milan Olympics. Caulfield has played in the World Junior Ice Hockey Championships. So why aren't we bringing Geekie back? Why did we get rid of him in the first place when he literally proved to us that he has something in him, that beautiful breakaway goal, and he's been trying so hard to shadow the players, learn from them. He's talked a lot about how he observes Cooch and tries to emulate him as an athlete. So why aren't we rewarding the player who's not only putting in the work, because they all put in work, yes, but the one that's actually producing results? And this is why so many fans were very upset with this decision. They took to X, formerly known as Twitter, to express their disappointments in the front office's decision. There were a lot of different reactions, varying from boos to a couple people tweeting out in all caps, "Geekie, no!" Some profanity here and there, a couple people saying how bizarre this is, because it really is. So yeah, I really think that Geekie deserves a spot on this team, and I hope that the front office has a good reason for sending him back to the Crunch. Maybe they're working on some development. I'd like to stay optimistic that, they're gonna develop him more so that he is ready for the NHL, but again, I'm just worried that this might really kill his momentum and potentially mess with that confidence that we saw so vividly. He was emulating so much confidence on that ice after getting that goal, and that's why I hope that this doesn't hinder the progress that he made after that night. And on the topic of some unfortunate recalls from Syracuse, Brandon Halverson had his second NHL start against the Rangers and was an utter embarrassment. Okay, 4-2 was the final score. So the Tampa Bay Lightning just signed him 2 months ago, a little over 2 months. They signed him on February 3rd. And what's really funny is that Halverson was drafted 2 rounds before Igor Shesterkin. And he absolutely blew it against Igor Shesterkin's team tonight. Now, granted, Shesterkin was not the starting goalie tonight. Dylan Garland was in for the Rangers. But, I mean, Halverson just did not step up to the plate whatsoever. I mean, this recall was, I guess, a special one to him. It came a day after he was named the Crunch's winner of the IOA American Specialty AHL Man of the Year award. And that award was given to him for his outstanding contributions to the Syracuse community this season, which is wonderful. But what did he contribute to the Tampa Bay community this season? Okay. Absolutely nothing. Nada. Zip. Okay. In the NHL, in the AHL, the minors, he has a record of 24-11-6 this season. His save percentage is around 91%. He's allowed, on average, about 2.39 goals. And he's currently leading the AHL in 6 shutouts, with 6 shutouts in 42 games. When you compare those stats to Vasi's stats, Vasi is currently sitting at a save percentage of about 91% as well, and he allows about 2.31 goals on average. So similar stats to Halverson. But you cannot compare an NHL goalie to an AHL goalie. Different league. Apples and oranges, ladies and gentlemen. Halverson is good in the AHL, but he is not good in the NHL from what we saw tonight. Okay? That was a very poor performance, and Jonas Johansson recently got injured, so I know that this was kind of like an emergency move to call up Halverson from Syracuse. I have my own theories as to why they started him. I like to think that they're giving Vasi some time off. We do have playoffs coming up, and as I've been saying consistently for the last few episodes, is that I'd rather see these players sit out and get the time they need to rest and recover so that they're 110% ready for playoffs this weekend. But at the same time, I would have liked to see the Bolts finish the regular season with a little bit more honor. I mean, I guess at this point, statistically speaking, on paper, it doesn't matter. We already secured the 2nd seed in the Atlantic, so who cares? The playoff picture is pretty much already painted for us. But, still, just for the principle. It's about the principle of things. I would have liked to see the Bolts close out the regular season on home ice, nonetheless, with a little bit more honor and grace. Because essentially today was really just a glorified warm-up. A dress rehearsal, a run-through, just to make sure that the players didn't forget how to play hockey. Because they did not want to play hockey tonight, it looked like. Thankfully, they didn't forget. They still knew how to play it. They just chose not to, which is different. Different concepts. We were missing a lot of key players that were just sitting out. Looks like Coop's trying to get them well-rested for the playoff games. Gensel, Sorelli, McDonough, Moser, Point, and Vasi were all out. They were healthy scratches in need of rest, which, again, long-term, you want these players to be healthy, but the choices that were made for the goaltending were awful. And Halverson's going to be a free agent by the end of the season, so I would be shocked if the Lightning re-sign him, but at the same time, he's doing well in Syracuse, so I don't know, just keep him in Syracuse. Don't bring him here. Don't bring him to Tampa Bay anymore, please, okay? We face the Habs this weekend on Sunday on home ice advantage. It's going to be a great matchup, and I really hope that they bring Connor Geekie back. I think that he has so much potential. He has a lot to prove, and he's already showed us just a sliver of what he can do. And I think if they keep bringing him back and allowing him to form those relationships with the guys on the current Tampa Bay roster and really build that chemistry, he can really turn out and grow into a big asset to this team. So we'll see what lies ahead. Playoff hockey is coming up. Make sure you tune in, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching today. See you soon, and go Bolts!